What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Baconator Zone for another transfer update live show. Um, I was out yesterday, so I didn't had a chance to actually talk about the breaking news that dominated the day basically, and apologize for not having a video out yesterday. I did one a couple of minutes ago for people who've watched that. For people who didn't watch that, I'm gonna go over it a little bit again and touch on maybe something Di Marzio will say in the next few minutes if there's actually any real transfer news happening for us. And there should be based on recent news, recent developments. Some actually I still have no words how to describe it because I'm very confused because I think it's a good thing, it's a bad thing, it's a very strange thing. It feels very inconsistent what happened yesterday. But before we get into it, as always, like the video. Um, the main topic is obviously Bonucci because that's the main guy out there, who got told yesterday by Giuntoli. Actually, he's on vacation. Excuse me. Um, Bonucci is actually on vacation, so apparently, which could be true, Giuntoli and Manna met him. I don't know where. Maybe he's back in Torino, but still has a few days off. They met with him and they told him, you're done. That's what they told him. You're done. You are coming back Monday as all the rest of the team. Rovella, Bonucci, Chiesa still not back. All those players should be back on Monday, and they basically told him, you can come in at the Continassa, but you're training on a separate pitch. You're not training with the group that will leave for the American tour in a couple of days to play the preseason. So they basically said, you're done. Get out of here. Find a club and whatever. We will work with any club coming in for you. We will not release you because otherwise they would have done that by now. But he's not part of the squad, and that's a big statement. I think I've called personally for these type of things. I think actually 2 weeks ago I said, be ruthless. Jesus Christ, ruthless, not ruthless, and tell the players you don't want at the club anymore. You can come in and train, but you're gonna train on your own, and the players who are gonna stay, and we will touch on the players who are gonna stay. Apparently, they train separately, and they train to prep for the season because too many times we leave on tour or whatever, or we play preseason games with players who are not going to be here, and many times they got minutes and it made absolutely no sense. Like, why would you give minutes to players? Why would you travel with players? Why would you train with players who are not going to be here? Like, it made no sense. So I said, be cold and tell these players, find a team, make it work, because you're not going to play. The counter argument of, oh, now the entire world knows they're training separately and they need to leave. The entire world knew we're gonna sell McKennie, Zakaria, Arthur. Clubs, speaking to the agents of these players, know we're gonna sell these players. They're not high asset players like a Vlahovic. You might sell, but you want to keep. So you train with the first team. These players are for sale, and clubs know that even if they were training with the first team. Like, we know that, we as fans. So imagine agents and clubs speaking with each other not knowing that. So I don't really believe that thing. I think it's a good thing that they that they train separately. The maybe the strange thing is how this Bonucci thing kind of escalated, because some view him as a legend. I don't. I think that's blasphemy. He's not in the same category as players like Del Piero. He's not, because what he did, or like what happened, you cannot wipe that out of the history books. Like, you cannot wipe out of the history books what he meant for the club. He was key for our success, so you cannot erase that. I think he's an icon of the club, but he's not a legend. But still, telling him, you're done. You can come in, but you can use the training ground, but you're not training with the first team. You're not going on tour, is kind of a big statement regarding Bonucci. Now, go back to April when there were reports already that the club was willing to let him walk, and they actually asked him, to take a stand and say, this is my season, I'm gonna leave, blah blah blah, and he refused to do that, And I think the club has been very patient with the situation. They've told him, find the club, you're not gonna play, you're not gonna get minutes, blah blah blah, up to a point where I believe he said, no, I want to say all those things, and I think he never believed that it would come up to this point where the club was like, okay, you're not gonna take a stand, you're not gonna buy into what we are telling you, so we're gonna prove it to you, and you're done. You're not with the team anymore, and you're completely done. I think he's shocked. I was shocked, so I think he will be shocked in the manner this has been, dealt with. But it needed to be done. Like, if he didn't want to leave, it needed to be done. Like, he's a liability when he plays. His wages are ridiculous. He's not fit anymore. It's just poor. Like, the level of play is really bad. It's been like that after the Euro wins. Like, this decision should have been made a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, but we didn't. He can go on and he can play another season for Lazio and Roma, do well, which is good for him. But for us, he was not performing anymore, and that's the main point. He wasn't. He was getting outperformed by a Serie B player in Gatti. That's how, like, that was the situation last season. He was. And at that point, I thought he himself would be at a point where he was like, okay, this is actually not good, looking good. Maybe it's for the better of everyone, me, my club as well, that we actually move. Did Romano say something? Did Romano say something? Because I got a buzz on my phone, but I don't see any news. Oh, understanding Milan, Lazio, and Juve are exploring the conditions of the deal for Noah Okafor. Played against Milan Piors. Yeah, so it's about Okafor. I think you pronounce his name like that. Di Marzio mentioned it a couple of days ago. I don't know much about him, but yeah, so I'm not really going to talk about it as of now because I don't know much about him. But that news is out there. Back to Bonucci. I think it's a big statement in that regard. For the others, like McKennie, Zakaria, Arthur, like that's just normal. I would say that would be a very normal thing to do. He's out. Those players are out. It's pointless to train with the group. That's that. Now, that was like I'm not too hurt about how the situation is dealt with because I know what the club tried to do with Bonucci and he was reluctant to accept that. And he's gonna actually I don't think he's gonna leave that easily. But if he's gonna stay, the club should put their foot down and say, fine, you're gonna stay, but you will not be part of the squad. You will sit out the entire season, no matter what. That should happen. You cannot flip it around now if you cannot move him on and just integrate him and play him anymore because you will look so weak. So that was kind of a positive news moment. The flip side is because the talks were coming out. Sorry. The names were coming out, excuse me, and I was waiting for Rugani's name to appear, Alexandro's name to appear, De Sciglio not because he's injured, but like in some way De Sciglio, but those names were not popping up. So that's the flip side. It's easy to do that with the players who just come back from loan. It's obvious you do not want those players. It's the same coach. So those players are not going to stay. It's easy to say McKennie and Zakaria and Arthur, you train separately, you're not part of the team because Allegri is the one who sent them out of loan. So they have no business in being at the club because it makes no sense. So it's easy to do that. But why is Bonucci's name, is Sandro's name not on there? You can say Rugani, let Rugani be what it is. But how is Alexandro's name on not on that list? How? Like for me personally as a fan, or like us, all of us, it makes no sense. For Allegri, it makes sense. He's gonna be here next season, and he's gonna play quite a lot of games. Actually, looking at the roster, the majority of the games, which is strange because a couple of months ago, a month ago, the talks were strongly that we were trying to terminate his contract, and he was going to Galatasaray or wherever he was going, Sevilla. Like teams were interested in him, but now at this moment in time, Allegri um, wants to keep. Um, I'm so confused. Let me see what the news is because there's some Lukaku news. Oh, so according to Di Marzio, this is fucking sad. According to Di Marzio, the Inter talks with Lukaku are not going that well, and Lukaku has opened up to a move to Juve, which I still don't believe, knowing who Lukaku is as a person. But it's the second time now this news is popping up, and it's actually putting fear in my body now. It's fucking ridiculous. Let me think, because this news is kind of breaking, and fuck me, man. Jesus Christ. Let me read the news because I have the Marzio on and I can see the Lukaku images, but I cannot listen to what he's saying, so I need to read it out. So he's saying the Lukaku case is becoming strange, intrigued. Inter are very bitter and annoyed with the Belgian's attitude as he's not responding to the club's officials and the Nerazzurri teammates, and has shown a strong openness basically to Juve, which is Jesus fucking Christ. That's as sad as it will get, news. Damn, that's messed up. Jesus. Let me finish the let me finish the story about. I'm just Jesus Christ. Also, there's some an Arthur update. Excuse me about that, because news is coming off now. Fiorentina are making positive moves for Arthur, which is good. Along with an option to buy, and the club will obviously pay part of his wage, which we kind of were expecting, because his wages are 6.5 million. The club, Jesus, I cannot believe we're doing this. Like, I cannot believe we're actually going for Lukaku. Sorry, people, I need to get that news out, but 35 plus 5 million euros. Sorry, guys. I'm actually confused. I'm actually pissed. What was I saying? I was saying about Arthur. I think I had some Arthur news. Let me get that up again. And then we'll talk Lukaku. But Arthur is moving up to Fiorentina, loan with an option to buy, and we will pay part of his wage, which we kind of knew, if we're being completely honest. He is on 6.5 million euros, and he's not played last season, so no club is really gonna commit to that basically. And why would a club commit to that? Um, Sorry, people. Let me get out the news on Twitter. Otherwise, I'll be stuck for a while. You let me know in the chat so we can. Apparently offered 35 plus 5 million euros for Lukaku, and he is kind of opening up to that idea. Apparently, which I still don't believe. I still don't believe. Uh, 1 minute, guys. Let me check all the news. Otherwise, I'll be stuck forever. Um, so yeah, that's a breaking news. Excuse me. Let me read out what Di Marzio actually is saying. Okay, Inter is ready to offer 35 plus 5 million euros because Juve has offered that on Wednesday. Uh, but it depends on selling Vlahovic before the 4th of August. Um, but Chelsea tend to close that deal quickly with Inter. But the problem is that the player is not really responding to Inter's calls, because he's kind of open to the idea of joining Juve. And it's not out of the possibility that Inter will just step back on the and from this deal now. Um, okay. So I got the news out. I'm very confused. Let me get out the comments really quickly because let me read out a few comments. Also, like the video if you're in. Thanks for joining. Also, I have on Monday, I have some big news for the members because that's going to be better and bigger next season. So if you want to support the channel, you can join the members club, and we have some fun and cool stuff coming up in the upcoming season, which is going to be very fun for everybody. Why would Lukaku want to come with no Europe low? I don't think he's really fussed about that, to be honest. I just the way he speaks about Juve, like he speaks about Juve the way we speak about Inter. Like it's just pure hate. So I feel like this is kind of a weird thing to get Chelsea into accepting Inter's bid really quickly. I don't believe it, you know. Also because the club apparently to Di Marzio, we need to have we need to sell Vlahovic before the 4th of August. If not, he's gonna stay basically. Chelsea are not gonna wait that long. They're not gonna wait forever to accept to not sell Lukaku. My opinion, you know, that's that. That's that. So we don't have money for Parisi, but for Lukaku we have. If we sell Vlahovic, we have money. Like I don't think that's. If it's true, I'm so done with this club. Jan, you finally got a Belgian player playing for Belgium for Juve, so that should be making you happy, no? He's finished. What are we going for? So we can't sign Parisi, but yeah, like if we sell Vlahovic, you can because there's some money there. But this is fucking like uh, I cannot believe. I don't want Lukaku. Like I can make I can sit here for 1 hour and I actually have no idea what to tell you. Personally, I just don't want Lukaku at my club. I was on Inter Worldwide, the channel. I think it was Tuesday, so go check that out as well. Anthony's a great guy. He will be on this channel anytime soon, and we talked about Lukaku. And I asked him in Interfan, like, what do you think about Lukaku? Do you want him? And he said, I love him as a person, but I do not rate him or love him like him as a footballer because me as well. Like when I watch Lukaku play, and I'm like, when I'm watching play, and I'm like, man, I cannot watch you. Like, it's painful to watch you play because you're not my cup of tea. And again, people say, you might say, oh, Vlahovic is the same. You know, last season he was terrible, and I would agree with that. But I don't believe that's what Vlahovic is gonna be. You know, I know what Lukaku is. I don't know what he's gonna be. I think he's 30 as well. Is he 29, 30? Let me know. Somebody in the chat. He should be 30 by now. 35 plus 5 million euros. You're not gonna get a single penny from him back unless in 2 to 3 years the Saudi league is still burning money, throwing away money, and somehow they want Lukaku. You're not gonna get that money back, and he's just not a player I like to watch. Like so he's 30. When I watch him play, every single time I'm like, what are you good at? Like what are like finishing that has been poor last season. Actually, poor is not a good word. It's been abysmal. Like it's terrible. It was meme material almost on a weekly basis. Um, his first touch is terrible. You need to play in a certain way with him. You know, back to goal and bully any player, speed, all those things. You need to play a certain type of football with him. And as a person, I don't like him. Like, I just like I cannot. I cannot get attached to that type of footballer. And again, I do not get attached to any of those current players in the squad. But he's just a player I dislike as a player, as a person. Like he's not my cup of tea. So that will be the worst situation for me as a fan because I need to watch Lukaku wear our jersey week in week out, and I absolutely do not rate him one bit. I just don't. I think on the biggest games, club wise, he kind of shits the bed on a consistent basis. When it's crunch time and when you absolutely need Lukaku to turn up, I have a feeling he never does. Like crunch time moments, he never does. And 40 million euros for a player who's 30, who is gonna be on the same wages as Vlahovic, you're probably not gonna sell because again he's 30, is ridiculous. It's absolutely madness, and you know. I'm not gonna say Giuntoli out on all those things, but I will have already a big question mark above his head because I don't get that move, and I will never get that move. Even if he does well, I will not understand the move. I will not understand this move. So, that being said, I don't believe we're really in for Lukaku. I don't. This feels like one party, is it Lukaku or is it Chelsea, are pushing Inter to speed things up. That's the feeling I'm getting because it makes no sense. It makes no sense for us being in for him. It makes no sense for him being open to actually join us. You know, so let's see. I asked for more transfer news and some buzz, but you know this ain't it. And this is absolutely not it. I'd rather have the winter or Nonge Ale. Lukaku is respectful towards the club every single season. Yeah, I just dislike him. Like I don't like him. I hate that he always is complaining in the media, especially the Belgian media and all those things. Like, and just play your game, man. Like he's too worried about what the media has to tell with him. Like he's too. How do you want to say? Like he's always in I'm gonna prove you right, wrong mode, and I'm like, why? Like, what do you care that the media or fans on social media are saying about in the comments? You know, just do your thing. And he's too focused on that. And actually, he never proves them wrong. He usually proves them right because on big occasions he's just not there. Yeah, but Romano, I know Romano tweeted, but Romano and Di Marzio have the same info. So um, Lukaku, Inter final bid 35 plus 5 add-ons. Inter have still no answer from Lukaku to close the deal. Juventus sent, oh Jesus Christ, Juventus sent a 37.5 plus 2.5 million bid to Chelsea, but only valid if they sell Vlahovic. Lukaku spoke to Inter, to Juve. Inter not happy with that. That's basically the situation. So again, we still need to sell Vlahovic, and as of now, there is no offer. Nothing. That can change. That can change tomorrow, because this kind of comes out of nowhere. That can change really quickly. But as of now, there's no real offer for Lukaku. So for Vlahovic. So um, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But we have to agree he's a Lakers style of striker. I agree with that. I will fully agree with that. But I don't want Allegri to be here. And I'm hoping he will not be here next season or even this season. No, I'm not hoping this season because that means we will be having the worst season ever. Mid-season they need to sack him. I don't want that. I want to have a good season. I want that club to make the call when it's, I don't want to say that. Like, they need to make the call based on, this is not really going anywhere. Not making the call on, we're in a relegation fight or whatever, mid-table battle. Then it's already too late. You need to make that call earlier. But he is his style of player. Like, remember, we were trying to get Dybala out and very close to Lukaku. I think it was 2018, maybe 19. I don't know anymore. The only way I can explain what Giuntoli is trying to do is sell Vlahovic and get another older Vlahovic plus 2 fullbacks with that money. I really don't like Lukaku, but if this is what it takes, and that's a steep price to pay to get 2 fullbacks, because you're stuck with Lukaku. Like, that's that money. You're not gonna get that money back, and that's a very steep price. Like, Parisi was there for 10 million euros. Like, did you really need to go to all this lengths? If that's actually the case, obviously. Do you really need to do that? It's a big price to take. Imagine Alexandro trying to link up high up the pitch with Lukaku. Oh my God. The technical ability in that link up is it's probably the worst you will ever see in a very long time. Yeah, very confusing news. Again, not sure what Lukaku's deal is here. He said no to Saudi Arabia apparently, and now he's ignoring Inter, who he pushed to join. So absolutely makes zero sense. Again, this news is, according to both sources, is based on if we're gonna sell Vlahovic. And according to Di Marzio, that needs to happen before the 4th of August. Now it's mid-July, and there's still no offer for Vlahovic. There's some few talks with PSG. And again, that can change. Tomorrow you can wake up and PSG made an official bid for Vlahovic, and he's gone. Like, that can go really quickly, because if the money is right, the club will speed up that deal really quickly because they need that money. So if they offer 75 plus 5 or 70 plus 10, I don't know, something around that ballpark, that deal will get closed instantly. Basically, it will happen. Vlahovic doesn't want to leave, but I think he accepted that. If that offer comes in, it's not gonna cry about joining PSG. Nobody's gonna really cry about that. So that deal can be closed really quickly if the first offer is what it needs to be. Then that deal can be closed really quickly. So it all depends. But as of now, there are no offers, so it kind of puts everything on hold. Why the hell is he not responding? I'm so confused. But yeah. Let me see. Comments. It's very weird. From the one side, it's perfect for Allegri, so this is good because you back your manager. But the other side is that no one wants Allegri. Yeah, but the question we should be asking is like, if Allegri is that guy, then surely you make it work with Vlahovic. No, like you're giving him Lukaku apparently, which again every time I'm saying you're giving him Lukaku, Lukaku will join us. The first thing that comes to mind is he absolutely hates the club, or it was all an act, and that makes it even worse. You know, just own up to it. Like don't fake it. Own up to it. You have a rich offer from the Saudi. You don't need to join Juve. Like if you don't want to join Inter, take that money because this is ridiculous. Like this is ridiculous, even for him. So, um, but yeah, you're backing your manager. You're kind of all in because um, that money is gone. Like you're not gonna get that money back. That means you're all in on Lukaku for the next 3 to 4 years, and that means you're all in on Allegri for the next 3 to 4 years because you cannot sack Allegri and leave the next man up coach with Lukaku, and 9 out of 10 times he's not gonna want Lukaku. So um, I struggle to believe it. I like something is up. Is it Lukaku who's pushing uh, Inter to do something? Is it Chelsea who's pushing Inter to do something as well? You know, isn't maybe Juve helping out Inter, Chelsea in some way, especially Giuntoli, because he had a lot of conversations with Chelsea the last couple of years. I think they sold. I don't know who they sold. They sold a couple of players to Chelsea, the Koulibaly last season. Maybe there's something like that to help out Chelsea, which again is far fetched. Sounds like a ridiculous thing, but so does this news. You know, so does this link. You know, it's ridiculous. I don't think we're gonna sign Lukaku. Yeah, I'm so confused. Excuse me, but let it rest for now. Um, what was I talking about before this news broke? Actually, I have no idea what I was talking about. I forgot. I forgot. The other news is Arthur. I threw that quickly, and according to Di Marzio, it's gonna be a loan with an option with us covering part of the wages, which I said many times on the channel. Like it's gonna be something like that. We're gonna need to cover part of the wages because the club's in for him. They're not gonna pay him 6.5 million. They're just not gonna do it. So um, it makes sense because there are no offers. It's Fiorentina, and that's about it. And the club needs to speed things up. I think next season when he comes back is a season they will kind of sell him on because he has a very low hit on the books, and they will somehow find a way, probably. So we need to bite the bullet this season, and if he's off the books, even for part of the wages, it's already better than we could have imagined at this point. I think. Is there any chance that Giuntoli is playing 4D chess and purposely trying to sabotage the Inter deal for Lukaku, knowing that he doesn't plan on selling Dusan? That's what I said. It sounds like a ridiculous thing to think, but I think we want to sell. Not like if an offer comes in, we're very willing to sell Vlahovic. You know, so maybe that part I don't believe that as well. I was talking about Bonucci being outplayed by Gatti. Oh yeah, I was talking that. How did we end up with Arthur? We did that sketchy deal with Pjanic. Like, that absolutely flopped for both teams. You know, financially, on the field. Yeah, understand Dusan Vlahovic is not part of Chelsea's list. Romano saying, no negotiations and no talks. Juve bid for Lukaku hasn't changed Chelsea's stance. As revealed a week ago, the only club actively working on Vlahovic deal is PSG. Talks on no bid yet. So again, that could be really, really quickly done. You know, that can be really quickly done. Like we can wake up tomorrow, and PSG could have put a bid in basically. Um, I could have put a bid in, and Vlahovic is gone, because if that bid is very close to what we want, um, if that's close to what he wants, then it will be done really really quickly. Sorry guys, sorry for it to be a very confusing live show. That's what happens when I'm live solo again, and I need to check the news as well. There goes my train of thoughts. I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm 35 minutes in and I need to record a video for tomorrow as well. If you haven't, go watch my daily news video. Yeah, crazy news. Like very confusing news, you know, from Bonucci to this, to no left backs, to Parisi signing for Fiorentina. Like a lot of weird couple of hours. But again, I will wrap it up by saying I understand what the club is doing with the Bonucci situation. I do not believe for 1 second that we are actually in for Lukaku, that Lukaku wants to join us. I refuse to believe that. I actually don't believe that. Not refuse, I just don't believe it. I don't think it's something we really need to worry about as of now, personally. But it's news, and it will kind of dominate the weekend, most likely. I will be back on Sunday with a live show, so stay tuned for that. Also with a daily as well. Thanks everyone for joining. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to help out the channel and become a member, you can hit the members button. That will change this season. A lot of new things are coming, giveaways, you know, prediction stuff to win jerseys. Also, Jockey Bro, who was in the chat, he won first place with the prediction, so he gets official Juve jersey of his choice with a name on. So if you want to win one, join the members club. Thanks for watching. I will be back, as I said, on Sunday. Good night, everybody.